Subnautica 2 is hopefully going into early access in the first half of 2025, and it is time to talk about some of the biggest changes the game will probably undergo. Keep in mind, we haven't really seen much gameplay yet. We saw one trailer so far, and that was only for cinematic experiences, and then we got some in-game screenshots. But there are actually a few things we can already talk about, which are, well, game-changing at this point. And the first one I want to tackle is the engine. Now, you might ask, as a player, why would I care for that too much? I just want to play the game, man. I'm not too much into this whole technical aspect. Well, the good news is this is not a technical video, this is a gameplay video. So we have to talk about how this will change your gameplay. So the first Subnautica and Subnautica Below Zero was running on the Unity engine. Now Subnautica 2 is not running on that anymore. It is now running on Unreal Engine 5. And the first thing that means for you as a player is system requirements will go up. If you could barely play the first two Subnauticas, so to speak, then you will have probably a big problem with this game. I'm pretty sure there will be some minimum requirements they're trying to keep very low as much as they can, but in the end, Unreal Engine 5 is a new engine with a lot of features. And we have seen this with so many other games who use Unreal Engine 5 that system requirements will go up. Of course, the same thing would have happened if they sticked with Unity, because even Unity transformed and changed and moved on. But Unreal Engine 5 is still hungry and it wants your hardware. So keep that in mind when Subnautica 2 is going into early access. Performance will probably be not okay. And I can already hear some Subnautica veteran players saying, lol, Mole, have you been here at the beginning when Subnautica was going into early access? Performance is not necessarily my concern. Yeah, I get you, but I just want to make sure that people are aware that the requirements will go up, that things will take more performance from you. And that's, of course, something you have to keep in mind. Another thing, and this is the second one, which I think is thankfully coming to the Unreal Engine, is multiplayer. Wait, what? No, Mo, you don't need multiplayer or Unreal Engine to run multiplayer. You can just put multiplayer into every game. Yeah, sure, but the good thing is that the Unreal Engine is coming with an underlining multiplayer system. That doesn't mean that you can just flip a switch and your game is running in multiplayer. No, that's of course not it. But it makes it much, much easier because a lot of the services they can utilize are already coming with the engine. The Epic services, which a lot of games are using, are there, right? I know that there are a lot of people who are always like, oh no, I don't use an Epic account. I don't have the Epic store. I don't want to use that. No. That doesn't mean that you have to utilize that. There are tons of games out there, actually, a lot of the Unreal games, who are already using the Epic services in the background, and you never notice. You don't know about it. It just happens in the background, it happens automatically. You don't have to do anything, but you are using their services, and this makes it so much easier for the developers to focus on all the features and to make them compatible with multiplayer. One of the reasons why Subnautica didn't really have a multiplayer, if you're ignoring the mod here for a second, is because they would have had to hire a whole team which is basically coding the multiplayer, preparing the code, and making sure that everything runs. The servers are stable, the services which you need are stable, and so on and so forth. And as I said, Unreal Engine is basically already coming with that in the background. So it makes it much easier for them to implement the multiplayer, which is, of course, fantastic. And now the third thing, which I'm not sure if it will be in Subnautica 2, but I would love to see it again. I would love to see them trying it again, and that is deformation and destruction. If you didn't know, Subnautica 1, at the beginning, I would say the first half of early access, had deformation. You could change your surroundings, you could destroy things in the world. And unfortunately, they then decided to remove it. Why did they remove it? Well, there were two things why. The first one was pretty obvious, and there was performance. So, changing your surroundings and all that had a pretty big toll on the performance. And even if you wouldn't touch your surroundings, there would be the chance that something could change. So the game basically had to prepare for it. And again, that wasn't good for the performance. So that was one of the clear decisions why they said, nah, sorry, we can't keep that in. The performance is just too bad because of that. The second reason why they removed terraforming in the end was they didn't really saw a reason for it from a gameplay perspective. There wasn't really much they did with it. Yeah, sure, you should make a hole right in the sand, or there was the rock puncher, which they kind of planned to put in the first one, and then they put it into below zero, but without the ability to actually punch through rocks, right? Um, they wanted to put that in and then realized, well, they didn't utilize it and they didn't really know what it was supposed to do. And so they just decided in the end to remove terraforming. But again, Unreal Engine is bringing physics systems with the engine, which allows you to do destruction, which allows you to do terraforming if you do it right. Now, I would definitely be interested to see that in Subnautica 2 because I think that it would be frightening and would add like a completely new level to danger when, let's say, you are being haunted by a Leviathan class monster and you're hiding in a cave and you are like, whew, okay, whew, made it, I'm safe. And half of the cave is gone because the Leviathan just used the tail or its claws or something to destroy part of the cave you were in, and you would lose your cover, right? And I would love to see that because it would make things much more frightening. Of course, we have to see if they can utilize that, and of course, if the performance is not suffering too much. But it is definitely a feature I would love to see revitalized with Subnautica 2. But those are the three things I think will do something really good in the end for Subnautica 2. And I cannot wait to see it in early access. Hopefully in the first half of 2025. But they should take as much time as they need. And when that happens, well, we will definitely check it out. But till then, make sure to leave a like under the video and also subscribe to the channel for more Subnautica 2 videos in the meanwhile. With that said, thank you so much for watching, stay safe, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.